Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha, this is Jeebs here. I am your old composer here at the World Music Reaction and Review channel. And as I continue my dive into OST, which has been great because going through OST, original soundtracks of video games, has also taken me through a journey of so many different styles of music, which is fantastic. Whereas my heavy metal channel and my rock channel is, well, it's heavy metal and rock, and there's tons of genres and tons of different ways to perform in those particular genres. But here I've listened to everything from classical to big band fusion, and it's really super sick. I think I'm really elated by this because the you folks that are gamers, I guess you're called, exposed to so much different kinds of music, which is great because a lot of times growing up in our soundtrack of life, we get pocketed into, you know, particular styles of music. But in the case maybe of buying a video game that you really want to play, you get introduced to a new style of music or a new performer, and to me that's great as a composer and somebody that has, I think, a pretty wide scope of listening ranges. I think it's fascinating, and I think it's so cool. Speaking of fascinating, okay, we're going to do a track from CYBERPUNK 2077. The name of the track is The Rebel Path. And so I had a lot of requests for this, for CYBERPUNK 2077 since I started doing OST, so I look forward to this. So, all right, guys, let's do this. This is from the video game CYBERPUNK 2077. It's an original score. I'm going to get these names wrong. Marcin Zablovich, P.T. Adamczyk, and Paul Leonard Morgan. I don't know. Paul Leonard Morgan just happened to have jumped in out of, with all these names. Those names seem like they're from East Europe. Anyhow, let's do this. I love listening to composers from around the world. That makes my journey even more joyful. Okay, here we go. CYBERPUNK 2077, The Rebel Path. All right. Okay, there's no two ways about this. This is obviously core EDM. Now, one thing I learned early on is that there's different types of EDM. So maybe you guys can help me out on if this is a specific type of EDM. What I really love about this, since I saw the trailer of this, or I saw the trailer that was played, I guess, in the 2022 Video Game Awards or something, is that the synth sounds, these kind of analog digi synth sounds that are going on, that kind of reminds me of Transformers blowing up. You know, in the effect that I get from it, that zig, you know, the sizzle and the fry of it. And when I'm talking Transformers, I'm talking like on electric poles, right? Very electric, well, EDM, right? I love that muted sub kick sound. You know, that it's muted in the sense that it's not punchy and stuff like, at least that's the choice it seemed they had made here. It's not punchy like, let's say, maybe a house track or, you know, anything I might hear in rock that obviously is real drums. I love the ambience and the etherealness they set up with some of these. They're not pads, so what's a pad is almost like, you know, strings, you know, and pads are used a lot, or strings to create ambience. But in the synth or in the, you know, digi world, you know, you hold down these chords that are beautiful and you let them go and they have a long tail and it gives you an ambient and ethereal vibe. It's not quite like that, but it's the fact that they have a long release on some of the sounds that they're using with reverb and also movement going on there, which means that there could be a slight flange or chorus or phase shifter that's happening that's giving you a left-right experience on there. And then they're starting to build that unique clap sound. That clap sound that they're using is very unique in the sense that it's centered, but it does give you some width if you listen to it. You can hear the dynamics of it is more left and right instead of maybe small and right down the middle in your face kind of a thing. And actually that melody is very hooky. Something of that nature first time listening, but I think I kind of got close to it. That's really hooky, and I'll bet you that's probably something that catches in when you're playing a campaign or whatever you call the segments here in this particular video game. That probably really burns in, you know. And tell me also exactly what part of the video game is this playing? Is this kind of a hunting down, running through the streets kind of vibe or something? You know what else that I thought is really cool that I forgot to mention at the very beginning when I was thinking about it, because sometimes when I'm doing these reactions, I have you know, things going on in my head. I try to remember things as I stop and pause for you guys. Two things. One is that unique rhythm pattern that he's using, or they are using on that bass. So it's boom, boom, boom. That's the kick, right? That's doing this, but boom, on the and of a rhythm pattern. You know, 1E and a 2E and a 3E. And musicians get it. Other people are going, what the hell is he talking about? But I like that that counter where the bass is not on top of the kick. I think that might have maybe pushed into more of a house sound. I'm not too sure. I'm far from being an EDM aficionado of any stretch of the imagination. And I love how they grew the bass sound, made it more menacing in the last couple of minutes. It just sounded like it became more menacing. So, you know, maybe they had a bass sound at the very beginning they started off with. In this last section, it became more menacing. And then finally, what I want to talk about is how they use soundscape to also add ambience. What soundscape and is, composers have tools that they're literally like, let's say, scrapes of metal, and you hit just one note, but these scrapes of metal, let's just say that's hypothetical, is something that's embedded or built into the synth module or something, and it's, let's say, whoosh, but it doesn't have a tonal value to it. So it doesn't have a note assigned to it. There's no key. It's just a soundscape. There was a great soundscape they used at the end of this that kind of gave you this kind of, I'll use that word again, menacing kind of, vibe going on behind it. And that's what I liked about it. It's like, this is probably a menacing, intense moment in in the video game, but it wasn't over the top, and that vibe that they had set and keyed through it didn't get too blown out. But then again, I don't know what it's coming up against. But once again, they came back in with that hook, and that's when I went, there's that, da 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 da, something like that. That was really cool. And so anyhow, that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the comments. Remember, I just don't only do OSTs. If you look through my YouTube page, you'll see I do artists from around the world with different cultures, different instruments as well. I've just been right now, the last couple months, really enjoying this because of what I said earlier, is the kind of genre journey that it takes me through. So, and I am getting to that Halo long form thing that I was talking about, where I'm going to sit back for about an hour and do 4, 5, 6 tracks from the early Halo journey. So I am going to get to that. I've just been, the holiday thing, busy. Old man, I got 8 grandkids, and so it keeps me a little busy. So you guys take care of yourself. Have a killer day. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, once again, if you want to support the channel, links down below. Headset link down below. Like, share, comment, all that sort of fun stuff. Take care. See ya.